In this lesson, we are going to learn about arrays. In JavaScript, arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable. They can hold various data types, including numbers, strings, objects, and even the arrays. Arrays in JavaScript are zero-indexed, meaning the first element is accessed with the index of 0, the second with an index of 1, and so on. So let's have a look at how we can create arrays. Creating arrays is easy. Just write const my array and put the data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if I console log my array, then I can see my array. And if I console log my table, I can see the index. We have said that the first element is accessed with a 0 index, the second is index 1, and so on. So the first element is at 0, and so on. Now, how do we access that array element of that array? Each element in an array has a numbered position as its index, so we can access individual item using their index. And to do that, let's say I want to see the first element of that array. I will use the square bracket, and inside that I'll place its position, which is 0. So if I put 0 here and write console log instead of table, I can see the value here is given as 1. Let's put table, and what does it give me? 1. If I want to see the last element, so I can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to see the fourth element, last element, then it is giving me 5. Now we can access the element, but how do we update it? Once you have access to the element in an array, you can update its value also. So let's update this value. And instead of 5, um, let's just say I want to write my array. In the last element is not going to be the number 5, it is going to be string 5. Now, if I console log my array, let's see what happens. I can see that my element, the array has changed 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If I want to change the first element, my array 0, and name it first. Let's see what happens to my array. My array has changed. It is now string first, then 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, what happens when we declare variables or declare arrays with let or const? Variables declared with the const keyword cannot be reassigned. However, elements in an array declared with const remain mutable, meaning that we can change the contents of the const array but cannot reassign a new array to a different value. So if I want to change it, I'm using const here. And if I want to change it, yes, I can change it. I can change the elements of that array. But if I want to change my array to a different array, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's see what my array gives me. It is giving me a type error because the assignment to constant variable. I cannot change the array name, but I can change the array elements if I use the const. Now let's have a look at the length property. One of One of an array's built-in property is its length, and it returns the number of items in the array. We can access the length property just like we do with strings. So, how many items are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I want to use the length and remove these things, it is giving me 5. So, how many elements are in that array? I can get it by using the length method. Array has a lot of properties and method. Now, if you come to this MDN documentation, you can see all the properties that an array has and all the methods that you can use with arrays. A lot of it, a lot of it. And if you click on at any one of them, it is going to show you what can you do with that method in that array. We have learned how we can update the values of an array. What if we want to add an element to that array? How do we do that? We do that by using the push method. The push allows us to add items to the end of an array. Remember this? The push is going to add an element to the end of an array. So let's see. I want to add 6 to it. I'm going to write my array dot push and then the value 6. If I console log my array, here I can see that now the value has changed to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has pushed another. Now, if I want to push 7 to it, I can just use push 7 and then it is adding to the end of an array console table. So it is adding to the end of the table. Now I know how to add an element to the end of an array. What if I want to remove an element from the end of an array? So another array method pop removes the list of item of an array. So if I my array dot pop, let's not let's pop pop, then what my array will look like? See, there is no last element. The 5 is gone. And if I want to see what value const popped item, if I want to see which one is the popped item and I can console log it, I can see that my value 5 is gone and the popped value is 5. So I can store the popped value as well. Now I know how to add and remove element from the end of an array. What if we want to add something at the beginning of an array or remove from a beginning of an array? If we want to do that, we can use shift and unshift. Shift method removes the first element of an array and returns the removed element. The rest of the element indices are then shifted down accordingly. And with unshift, this method adds one or more element to the beginning of an array and returns the new length of the array. So let's use the shift method, unshift method, my array dot unshift, and I will add beginning string. Now, if I console table this, what will I get? See, now instead of 1, the number 0 index is beginning. What if I want to remove the number 1, remove the 0 index, the value 1? I can use my array dot shift and store the removed item first element gone and console log the first element. I can get it. The value 1 is gone and 2 has become the 0th index and my first element gone is 1. So this is how we can add or remove item in the beginning of an array. Now let me show you how we can use arrays and functions together. So let me remove all of it. And let's just say I want to create a function that is going to add a number. The function is add number and then it is going to take a value, number, and then we are going to use the push method. myArray dot push. Whatever the number you get, you are going to push it to my array. And then console log myArray. So if I want to add, let's just say 23, all I have to do is add number, call this function and pass 23. And if I console table this, I can see that in the fifth index, 23 has been added. If I want to add 100, so this is how we can use arrays and functions together. Now let's learn about nested arrays. Nested arrays are arrays within array, allowing for the creation of multidimensional arrays. They can be useful for representing data in a structured format, such as matrices, table, or collection of objects with multiple properties. So let's create a nested array. I will comment all of it, and then I'm going to write let matrix is going to be an array, and inside that array there is going to be other arrays, 3, then 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9. Let's console log this, console table this. So we can see that in our 0 index we have 1, 2, 3. In our first index we have 4, 5, 6, and in our second index we have 7, 8, 9. And these things we can see them, right? But how do we access them? Now let's just say I want to access 5. What is the value of 5? We can see that 5 is in row number at 1, number 1 index, and it is at the one it is at the first column, right? So we can use these coordinates to access the 5. We can use console log matrix. In this matrix, it is going to be the first row and the first column. Let's see what it returns us. So it is returning us the 5. And if I want to, let's just say, find 9, we can see the or no, let's just say we want to see the 7. So it is at column row 2 and column 0. So if I write row 2 and column 0, it is going to show me 7. It is giving me 7. So this is how we can access any elements in a nested array. With this, we can conclude our lesson for array.